Hey everyone, coming at you today with a discussion video, kind of talking about some nuances regarding your MAG, your mutual aid group, your group of people that come together in the event of disasters and various other exigent and extreme types of situations, and how to kind of organize and structure and go forward with various types of operations, be it anything from search and rescue to just community emergency response assistance to more of your armed prepared citizen type of things. So at the beginning of the video here, I put a graphic up of kind of a basic organizational structure. I'll put it up again at the end of the video so you can pause and look at it and whatever. But basically you're breaking it down into a couple of sections. The biggest caveats to understand with all of it, really from the start, is your group size is going to determine the amount of multiple different duties and roles everybody is going to have to play and perform to contribute to the group and to the community and things like that. Another is just understanding what general group size is in tandem with that. A lot of people, and there's other videos out there on organizational structure and op order and, all these kinds of things, but that's under the assumption that you have a large group. We're talking 1, 2, 3 platoon size elements of people. That may not be the case, especially if you're in a more remote area. Based on what your general plans and emergency contingencies are, your pace planning and everything else, it may not be that big. It may just be 2 or 3 families of 5 people each, so 15 people, half a platoon size, if that. So understanding that with these nuances of the size of your group when you come together in the event of an emergency activation and having to link up and rendezvous and rally at a certain point, or fall back in your pace planning to a certain contingent location, or whatever it is, that you may not have a lot of people. So with less people, you're going to have more roles between each person that you need to be able to perform and contribute to the group overall. Along with that, if in that circumstance, if you have a organization or contingency of a larger group of people, even with that size, you have other, obviously, logistical issues that you have to deal with. More mouths are more problems, but also that even with a larger group, everybody's still going to have multiple roles that they have to do. So taking those points in necessary context and keeping them at the forefront of your brain in a lot of ways, going and looking at the organizational structure of things. So a variety of things. So your combat arms roles people, so your patrolling groups, your static guarding protection overwatch groups and all that stuff, people manning LPOPs, access and control points and doing patrols and reconnaissance and everything. If it's not that type of variety of situations, those people are going to be in charge, are going to be doing a lot of search and rescue stuff, but apart from search and rescue and emergency assistance stuff, they're going to be doing a lot of manual labor stuff. This is all of the things that are necessary, vital for a group that they have to do in order to stay effective and successful and survive. Everybody wants to talk about all this high speed, gung-ho, gun running, shoot 'em up, kicking doors in kind of stuff. You're not going to be doing that a lot of the time and in a variety of different situations. Even with the combat arms roles and things like that, you're protecting your homestead and you're going out and gathering information, doing site survey, doing advanced planning, doing reconnaissance assessment, not getting in active engagements. That's the last resort at all times. So people need to get rid of that grand illusion, or that delusion of grandeur, or whatever they perceive it with that it is, because 99% of the time 95, 99% of the time, that's not what you're going to be doing. Nor should you want to be going out and looking for trouble, because you're going to get yourself killed. Fact of the matter. You don't have the logistical support, and you probably don't have enough skilled people to be able to be conducting those kinds of operations all of the time. You will not survive. So in the context, you're going to be doing a lot of manual labor. You're going to have to build access control points and guard stations. You're going to have to build your LPLPs. You're going to have to upkeep and maintain and build more structures and do a number of other manual labor things, cutting firewood and prep and everything else that's involved with protecting your home, your site, your home, your group of people, alongside all of the manual labor involved with emergency response operations and everything else, assisting your community. Search and rescue is very tiring, very long, drawn-out work, as is cleanup after a disaster. Prime examples would be all of this stuff happening in North Carolina and parts of Tennessee and South Carolina and things like that, but also anytime a tornado happens, anytime an earthquake happens, anytime a wildfire happens, anytime other flooding happens, so on and so on and so on. And that happens a lot more than anything else. So people need to understand that too. You have to have multiple roles, and you have to be trained up and ready to assist proficiently and effectively with a number of different skills. Who's able to operate heavy machinery? Who knows how to operate, maintain, and operate chainsaws safely? Who knows how to do this? Who knows how to do that? You know, medical people and all that. And that gets broken down into these different columns that you see with this graphic. You know, you've got your people in charge of supply. You've got a lot of people that have to contribute to logistics in general. You have people that have to assist with communications, whether that's just one or two people, or, again, depending on your group size, more people. And intelligence plays into that too. Human intelligence is still one of your most important and beneficial intelligence types and needs that you're going to be regularly conducting in a variety of different emergencies, disasters and otherwise. You know, you need to get information from people. Hey, these people are trapped here. They're stuck here. Okay, we need to figure out how to get to them now. Hey, you know, we've got some ne'er-do-wells over here. We got some bad guys over here. You know, they're holed up in this abandoned building on the corner of Park and Spring Drive, across from the old Dollar Tree that got looted and gutted and burned down. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, human intelligence is essential, so you have to have that marker of relationship with the community in large. Or in general, I should say. So apart from that, you've got your supply, your logistics. I've already talked about the combat arms stuff. So supply and logistics, and then again, all of that manual labor stuff. You know, on top of that, with having to build things and repair things and all that stuff. You know, who's good with repairing or making clothing? Who's good with, you know, a number of those things? You know, and then your various intelligence types and things like that. You know, and it's not just human intelligence, humans, but that's one of the most important. And it's going to be one of the most prevalent. You're going to have your signal intelligence. Again, the communications guys are going to be kind of in charge of that too, right? Because that's kind of their wheelhouse. You know, the people that are good with that kind of thing. You've got other types of intelligence, whether it's your general OSINT or open source intelligence. That's if you still have access to power and internet, you know, in large, you know, because that's a lot of online footprint presence kind of stuff and assessment there. Same with geosint, geospatial intelligence, because, you know, you have to rely on satellite imagery and a number of other things for that. If you don't have access to that, that's why you have updated physical topographical maps to a certain extent that you can utilize based on what other information from other groups that you're getting, from the other parts of intelligence and various people and what that you're getting, to be able to utilize to plan accordingly and respond accordingly in emergencies and things like that, right? So there's a number of things there in what you see in the columns, and they all kind of tie together. And again, everybody's going to have multiple roles, you know. So just there's so much. I'm emphasizing that so much because it's so necessary in order to stay successful and to survive. gardening, farming, things like that. Other more important skills for your logistics and your supply and everything. Again, it's all a continuum, and ever expansive based on what you have at your disposal, what you need to do in order to stay successful and survive, and otherwise. And again, variable to the situation. So just take that into account. Everybody needs to take all that stuff into account. Holidays are right here, for the end of the year. Holidays and everything, they're right here. You're going to be ideally with friends and family, Make sure you're talking with them to help kind of get the brain going a little bit and kind of get a better understanding of, okay, Uncle Bob, he's got the hunting cabin here, and it's pretty stocked, and blah blah blah. It's in this good location, all that. Implement that into your pace plan, into your contingency plan of locations to get to. Get Uncle Bob in with it, whatever it is. A number of things, and just understanding. Even just looking at the dynamics of your family and or friends, family, and people that you're around, who are the good cooks, because you're going to need to have people manning field kitchens, for whatever type of situation all the time, really. Who's good with the cooking and stuff, who's good with knowing how to can and jar, and all that stuff, and just talk to people, talk to your family, just kind of get them in the fold, at least at the skim base level, so they can contribute to some of those aspects of your greater structure and planning, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at with that. The last little bit is at the very top of the graphic is your command and control, your leadership and things like that. Generally, you want it to be multiple people, and there should be some element of a democratic process there. Nobody likes a dictatorship, right? And one person making decisions is not going to be as effective as what multiple people bring to the table with their knowledge and respect in the group, and showcases of good leadership, right? Getting into leadership is a whole other kind of topic to get into, but understanding that this rough idea of a structure and all of these nuances and things like that, even the people up in charge, they're going to have other duties and roles too. They can't just sit there and be an armchair quarterback. They're going to have to help with everything else too, but there should be people in the group that have the most experience and have good leadership qualities and whatever else, obviously there's always going to need to be some level of challenge and to convey your knowledge, skills, and abilities, your KSAs, in order to contribute. And if you have a better, if it ends up like you have a better idea than somebody else who is in that kind of leadership position, along with this other group of people for command and control, they should bring you into the fold. Or for that period of time, you're going to be, kind of heading that kind of thing, that kind of operation or whatever it is. So it's like that kind of thing. You need to be adaptive and flexible with it, and you need to be able to have within your group of people the right people in charge, not the people that are, being antagonistic and aggressive about taking that position and being in a power, a power vacuum, and a power trip and stuff, but also not picking people that can't make decisions, right? They need to be able to think things through and make good, sound decisions, and go to the rest of the group to make those decisions, and then get a final vote on it and things like that. Like, there's just a lot of things that people don't understand and or aren't looking at in the bigger picture of things. A military type structure is good for certain groups of people, but it's not good for other groups of people. Some elements of it are, but not in totality. And we see some of the deficiencies in military leadership and structure organization as it is now. Any of us that have served in the military definitely knows. There's a better way to do it. There's a couple of better ways to do it, but one of them is to have a group of people that can bring to a vote, but is also effectively communicating with the entire group. And coordinating with other groups and the community and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm getting at with there. So a lot of things to consider, a lot of things to look at for people to understand. Again, graphic was at the beginning of the video. It's going to be at the end of the video here too. So pause it and kind of look at it. It's very basic, but you can use that template and you can expand upon it based on what your needs are and what the best method of approach is going to be for an organizational structure. I do have, again, at a subnote at the bottom of the graphic that, hey, based on group size, you know, less people, more duties for each person, you know, basically. So, again, something to keep in mind. I'm really emphasize that. So, but yeah, that's about what I have for this one. So, thanks for watching. Share this information with anybody you think may find it useful. I'm trying to bring some education here based on professional background and experience that I have, and a number of other things, but just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit too. Some of the cookie cutter template structure isn't going to work, or it needs to be heavily augmented and adapted in different ways. But yeah, baseline here, kind of take that in consideration and then move forward with that, and you know, have some good conversation and communication with the people that you're around this time of the year. Get them thinking a little bit, especially with everything that they see that's going on in the world and domestically and stuff, with a variety of situations and risks and things like that. So, but yeah, with that, we'll round it off here. Again, talk to people, get things organized for yourself, at least to an extent where you're comfortable with it, you know, and it can be implemented easily whenever something does happen, disaster or otherwise. So that's about it for this one. Happy holidays to everyone, and coming at you with more videos soon, and Happy New Year coming up here. So metal up, out.